People near and far, left and right, up and down. Welcome to part 3 of daily number 528. It's a long game. Hop into it. At the end of part 2, we talked a little bit about the extended transitions in this matchup and how there's really nothing wrong with these very, very, very slow gradual pushes. Just an extra... what the thing's called. An extra Yamato cannon here and there, a couple tank blasts. We can even see that reflected in the unit's loss tab. Although, I just think this is a trap to get into the build all the infestors style. It's so easy to start flooding infestors and to not stop because we want to have some answer to the air, but I mean, Terran air beats pretty much all the other airs. You hear? We're seeing ThorZaiN just sort of handily make his way forward. More battle cruisers. And of course, for the billionth time, an infestation pool and spawning pool are rebuilt. Hive is rebuilt. Many turrets and sensor towers are rebuilt. So I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with ThorZaiN just continuing to work this way up. I'll just go ahead and leave this up. This has been at 25-140 for quite some time. I will still note that, you know, counterattacks right through here are going to be super difficult to deal with. ThorZaiN could drop a bunch of mules and then we just back away. This main literally just doesn't even have anything in it. This roach could just start killing the whole main base. All the main bases, the mobility, I just don't think it's a good idea to answer Terran metal with head-on attacks like this. Literally, very little's getting done. Literally. Speaking of which, few things please me so much as to use literally in a completely unnecessary way. Dude, I ordered a pizza yesterday and I literally ate it. Literally. I gave the cab driver a 15% tip, literally. Thought he did a very adequate job of getting me from A to B. Literally. Alright, so now we actually get some steps forward by our good friend TargA. But they will never go well, literally. You saw how terrified TargA was to just deal with this force and end up engaging some sort of seeker missile. And seeker missiles are just stupidly obnoxious to deal with, as you can see. Also, I just want to envision for the moment. Let's say TargA hits the perfect angle. Let's say TargA nails this army at just the perfect angle, kills everything off. Then what? You have a bunch of corruptors against a Terran player who just has a bunch of stuff. This is the ideal circumstance for Terran, to have forced a player to make nothing but corruptors, because even if you botch it all to hell, there's no threat. And now we finally have ThorZaiN doing the last step transition. It's somewhere here. Where is it? I would pause to find it, but I don't think that's necessary. Is it over here? There it is. Ghost Academy. Ghost Academy nuclear missile. Yeah. ThorZaiN pulls all the way back and all the way forward. See, look at this. This could have been done ages ago. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it with the infestor right as the attack wraps up. But to do this, while ThorZaiN's trying to push here, while he's trying to navigate, also would have been able to catch all the Vikings off guard. I mean, imagine if 3 infestors had stayed here when this army came back, fungal, and then 50 corruptors swinging in, photo in. Any tactic that forces the meching player to be somewhere that he's not is just so potent. All the spore crawlers. Okay, so this is one of these states again where people are going, okay, well, I want my max army to be Corruptor Broodlord, Infestor, but I have minerals. What do I do? Well, I'm going to build defensive structures. This just delays. That is all it does. Speeding it up so we can get to questions at any time. Double nuke incoming. Siege tanks killing off all the spore crawlers. Units lost tab, really the only thing we need to see. It was 25 to 35 earlier, now it is 30 to 51. Snipes are excellent, but this is the real thing that's excellent, are the nukes. All the nukes? Not an aggressive nuke placement, but enough to inch it back. Snipes abound. And the reason I was mentioning this was such a tragedy in this match, space is already mined out. ThorZaiN could have had it. He could have had it all. I would like to once again point out how critical these upgrades should be. And also over here, look at that. We can get a combat shield. We can get stim. I thought there was another barracks down here. Where is that other barracks? Does he just have one? Okay, he's got one barracks. That's fine. Stim and combat shield. Why not? Look at how many minerals he has. That's 160 Marines right there, man. I mean, there's not much new analysis to be had, but we can always appreciate ThorZaiN continuing to work his way forward. Thank you, says TargA, as a whole bunch of scans get thrown down, or mules get thrown down instead of scans. I think that this is kind of a clever late-game choice from TargA, because he can do the healing with it, and also they have such long range. I mean, 7 range against air is awesome. It is not a good life to be any defensive structure in this game. Life's going bad? No, I'll split it. He is losing all the things. So yeah, all in all, I would say that this game is a pretty sweet example of kind of transitioning out of your mech mix and then transitioning on and then on and then on, and the way the expansions are positioned and the way the attacks are positioned to be able to defend all of the expansions. The units lost tab, we see the tragedy that is the Zerg trying to deal with this air army with only air. TargA keeps pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. And it's just one unit at a time stepping in. The final battle shall transpire soon. Isn't this an awesome way to steal minerals? Stealing all the minerals, man. Now at some point here, ThorZaiN begins to research these upgrades. We get to see that at some point. More thievery, more knavery. Oh, and just as a general rule, target energy units over not energy units. Oh yeah! What do you know? It's the Neo Steel. Oh, it's not upgrades. Okay. Sick in the deck, according to TargA. Oh yeah, part 3 has such little content because this game is awesome. There's the stim and the combat shield and all that. Just found 1k gas at my natural, and indeed he did. Oh, what do you know? Oh, what do you know? That's why counterattacks are so strong versus me. Oh yes. You know what? Oh, actually, that was cruel. That was needlessly cruel of me. Let me actually just give you that at ×2 speed. Final confrontation is to happen here. TargA finally runs out of patience and attacks at an angle that can be described only as not ideal. Zerglings coming on in. Now, I'd just like to note humorously enough, the most damage that has ever been dealt to tanks in this entire game has been from those Zerglings. All this Infestor Corruptor, it's just not a good late game force for Zerg. Looks good on this tab, but not so good on this tab. And then all the snipes, here, all the snipes. Oh, phew. Phew. GG, well played, mister. And in the units lost tab, he's... Wow. Look at all that. Let's go to Marky Ochoa and log in. Cause it's time to take questions. No, his question grabber fell apart. Guys, let's take some questions. Ooh, any question that you have. NickGar22 says, Day 9, do you think after that mech army got destroyed the first time? Do you think the Zerg could have killed ThorZaiN because he had half of the unit's army left and about 20 more roaches on the way? I am just so not the advocate of going to attack someone after you've killed off their army. Let me just say, I don't care what matchup you're in, what level you're in, but especially if you are mid-grandmaster and lower, the #1 mistake that people make right after winning a battle is trying to go end the game by attacking the enemy. Don't do that! Don't do it! Don't do it. When you win a battle, expand. Tech. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Here's a good way to think of it. You build defenses so that way you can do something at home, right? You build a whole bunch of spine crawlers because, why? You just secured a new base and you want it to not die. You're defending something. Excellent. Makes clear and total sense. If you just killed off his entire frickin' army, that's one of the best defenses possible. He doesn't have an army. In fact, he can't even attack you. Therefore, do something tech-wise. If you box your army and try to go kill him, there's no guarantee that you can do that. In fact, right after a player loses his army, the first thing on his mind is, holy crap, I better build up a bunch of defenses. You can go over and check and see if he built nothing like a fool, but 99 times out of 100, even if your opponent is awful at this game, he's going to go, oh my god, I could die now if he attacks. Let me build defense. Just expand. Juste expandement. So that's actually my answer to the question. I know it doesn't directly answer it, but I don't care. Here's a great question from HD Smith 8208. If our good friend ThorZaiN has Yamato'd all the Broodlords, why doesn't he just land all his Vikings and charge on in? Here's the reasoning. If there is any non-zero number of Zerg ground units, those Vikings are immediately going to go, I shouldn't be here. And they're going to try to run. They can try to run by ground and get fungled and then die, or they can lift up right in front of all those Corruptors and then die. In other words, if you are wrong even slightly off, you are boned with those Vikings. So you just don't want to take that risk. It's a hugely risky play. Just the most risky thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything that actually is quite so risky. The only thing I can think of that's quite that risky is when a Terran player loads up his 100% of his Marine Marauder army up into some medevacs to go drop a Zerg. That's the only thing I can think that is that risky. Because even if he has nothing there, you still might lose your whole army, and then your medevacs are pinned, and you can't even retreat. And a lot of the time, you'll just run into fungals, and you'll be sitting with your whole army in medevacs going, oh my god! Oh my god, man! Ah! Damn it! Fine! Alright, here's a good question from Alton000. Day 9, do you think going Queen, Infestor, and Hydros is the best against air directly? What do I think? Yeah, probably just like some sort of Hydra Infestor mixture. I mean, what sucks about Hydras is that a lot of the ground units are just great against them. Oh my god, was that answer boring? But also the Fungal growth plus infested Terrans is great. I would probably say like a Ling Hydra Infester is like a nice little composition. You just have to be careful at the angle. But again, gain the advantage in the mid game. Ooh, because that is where your edge really is against mech. Kill off one attack, expand like crazy. Don't go to Hive. Roach, Mutalisk, Vision, research Overlord speed. Why aren't you researching speed against mech? Position Overlords everywhere. What is he going to do about it? Send 2 Vikings? You have Mutalisks. You kill it. Is he going to harass you? You have Overlords everywhere. You see everything. Against Marine Tank? Can't do that shit, man. It'll shoot down your Overlords. You'll be fucking dead, man. But against mech, what shoots up? Thors? Pfft, it's an Overlord. Alright. I hit it for 8 damage. It's gone, but I think it's upset now. There's nothing you can do about it, man. Nothing. Nothing. King Gagassi says, Day 9, you said that after you crush the army as Zerg is Hive, why not make Ling Roach instead of Muta Roach? You said that Lings are good against small numbers of Thors and Hellion. Lings are faster and cheaper, which gives stronger composition, which allows you to have more options. Yeah, I think that's totally acceptable. The reason I emphasize Roach and Mutalisk is that those are the core units that are going to make Terran go, oh my god, and have to have an answer. He must have an answer to each of those in large numbers. Hellions just are awful against a lot of Roaches. He must have a lot of siege tanks in good positions to deal with Roaches. Mutalisks, he must have an excess of Thors in a lot of places to deal with an excess of Mutalisks. In fact, so rarely do I see mass Mutalisk against meching players that I'm starting to say it as often as I possibly can, because if you kill off a Protoss or a Terran army and then you just expand, going Ling Roach, counterattacking, keeping him at bay, having Overlords everywhere, so there's no way his counterattacks are going to be good in the slightest. You have 6 Mutalisks to be able to deal with drops, just do some poking harass, just be annoying. And then all of a sudden you build 30 Mutalisks, and you just catch them slightly off guard. You can easily kill Thors with Mutalisks. It's actually not hard. I think a lot of people don't know about this technique. I'll say it then. With your Mutalisks, if you click on the screen, they'll just go straight to that point. So a lot of times against Marines, you click to bunch them up and move them around in that bunch. So you can shoot really nicely and compactly and not have like 3 on the fringe get picked off by Marines. If you are playing, I'll even show it the mouse. If you're playing with Mutalisks though, I'll even come back to the, let me actually come back really early in the game so the map looks normal. Oh, thank goodness. I want you, yeah, with these Mutalisks, normally you'll click in an area right here and that'll bunch them up. But what you do is you spread them out a little bit, and then when you want to move, you just right click at the far edge of the minimap. So for instance, if I wanted these Mutalisks to move to here, I wouldn't click over here, I wouldn't click over here, I would box them and then I'd click down here. I'd even look on the screen and I'd be clicking around like this. That keeps them spread out, and then Thors don't really do any damage against them. So that is the way to kill a lot of Thors easily with a lot of Mutalisks. Just be sure to... I'm not sure which one I'm of the opinion is better against Thors, because the missile attack is good because Thors have a lot of armor, so that really ramps up strongly against them. And also you have the 3 bounces with the Mutalisk hit. But also Thors fire 4 shots at once, so maybe you should get armor. I don't know. I'm done! I hope you enjoyed this daily. On Sunday is subscriber Mana Battles. Mwah! I decided to blow a kiss to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and enjoy IPL as I will be doing so. Time for me to go get more water. Bye! Thanks again.